World War III would not begin with one dramatic invasion. It would begin with a question. If America leaves the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, who still believes Europe will be defended? That question, once spoken aloud, cannot be unspoken. It travels faster than any missile. It reaches every defense ministry, every intelligence agency, every adversary watching from the outside. The announcement comes late on a Friday. Washington states that the United States will no longer guarantee automatic collective defense of European member states. The legal language is careful. The strategic message is not. Europe hears one sentence: "You are on your own." Markets respond within minutes. The euro drops. Defense stocks spike. Bond yields in smaller European economies begin climbing. Every screen in every NATO headquarters shows the same data. The guarantee has disappeared. At first, nothing explodes. That is what makes it dangerous. Markets fall. Defense ministers cancel travel. Intelligence agencies raise threat levels across the continent. Emergency cabinet sessions are called in Warsaw, Tallinn, Helsinki, and Paris. Citizens watch breaking news on their phones in the dark. Every capital asks the same question. Does Article 5 still mean anything without American military power standing behind it? The answer is not no, but it is no longer clearly yes. And in the mathematics of deterrence, uncertainty is the most explosive variable of all. Europe wakes up alone, not because its armies have vanished, but because the architecture of credibility that held everything together for 70 years has developed a visible crack. Adversaries do not need a door to open. They only need a crack to widen. Then the probing begins. Not an invasion, not yet. Airspace violations over the Baltic Sea. Cyberattacks against Estonian financial infrastructure. Global positioning system interference across northern Poland. Anonymous sabotage of undersea data cables in the North Atlantic. Pressure in the Arctic. Pressure in the Black Sea. Pressure along every seam of the alliance simultaneously. The point is not to conquer territory. The point is to measure fear, to find out which countries panic, which ones call for help, and whether anyone answers. Each incident is designed to stay below the threshold of a clear armed attack. Each one is deniable. Each one is a question disguised as an action. What will you do about this? Europe responds fast, but unevenly. Poland demands hard deterrence and immediate reinforcement. The Baltic states request emergency consultations. France and Britain begin signaling their independent nuclear guarantees. Germany rearms. Smaller nations ask whether promises made in Brussels can survive genuine fear in their own streets. Then comes the incident. A border facility is struck. No one claims responsibility. The evidence is deliberately messy. One North Atlantic Treaty Organization member state calls it an armed attack. Others call it sabotage. Article 5 is discussed inside the alliance chamber, but not immediately triggered. That delay is the signal everyone sees. This is where deterrence starts to fail. Not because Europe lacks weapons, not because the alliance lacks soldiers, but because the adversary no longer knows where the red line is. And when red lines become unclear, powerful states begin testing them. The war spreads before anyone officially calls it war. Insurance rates explode. Shipping routes across the North Atlantic close. Satellites are jammed. Energy terminals go offline. Banks begin modeling a continental conflict. Civilians see empty shelves before they ever see soldiers. Then the paradox strikes Washington directly. America left the alliance to avoid being trapped in European conflicts. But the collapse of European deterrence has created a larger crisis than the alliance ever produced. Washington now faces the worst possible choice. Return under far worse strategic conditions, or watch the entire post-war European order fracture in real time. The most dangerous moment is not the first attack. It is the first misunderstanding after the attack. A radar anomaly misread. A cyber false alarm triggering a military response. A missile defense alert with minutes to decide. The old system depended entirely on credibility. The new system runs on panic. If America leaves the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, World War III may not start because the alliance disappears. It may start because the world stops believing it exists. The alliance does not need to die. It only needs to be doubted.